Yay Networks.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Happy day, whatever day you're listening to.
Happy Tuesday.
Or Wednesday or Thursday.
This is true.
Maybe Friday.
Oh, that's right.
You could start us off on a Monday.
Just because we drop on a certain day doesn't mean people listen to
Joyous
it on that
Saturday,
day.
Sunday.
I don't know why my brain can't comprehend any of that, but
Yeah.
you know.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Laura.
And this is
Cheers.
Cheers
To that shit. We haven't cheersed in a long time.
No, we haven't. Let's. Cheers.
You know that well, I'll drink my cheers first.
Do I know?
Well, we talked about an episode one day, or just in our random catching up when we first signed on. I was saying how cheers to that shit has become like something I say in my everyday life now. I've noticed, you know how your triggers go off, like you buy a car and then all of a sudden you see that car everywhere.
Yeah.
So all of those triggers start going off. And now I just see everybody saying cheers everywhere.
You're like copycats.
Like commercials, Instagram, like cheers, cheers.
God,
Like
we're so
all
trendy.
over. I know. And I'm like, oh, cheers to
Why
that
aren't we
shit.
famous yet? Jesus
Somebody
Christ.
I told recently too, like asked me what the name of our podcast was, or I was telling them the premise of it and what we talked about, and they're like, "Oh, what's the what is it?" I was like, "Cheers to that shit." They're like, "That is perfect."
Like
Like,
yeah,
they
I know. Yeah, that's the point.
But it was just, it made me feel like that was a good job we did naming that podcast.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Well, we're gonna skip over the how you doing, what you done, what's going on, because we are back with a fan fave, a my fave, a your fave, stories. So before we start, if you have any crazy wedding stories, send us those at stories@cheerstothatshit.com.
Yeah.
Or you can go to our website and send them
On our form.
on the form there.
Yeah.
But they're great. And we love reading them.
It just corroborates everything we talk about.
It makes me feel like what I'm saying
Is valid.
Validated.
Yeah,
I'm just like, good. Okay, so people are still fucking crazy in the wedding industry.
So this shit is still happening out there.
Great.
That's a trend that's never going to go away.
No. So I'll start us off this week.
Okay, cool. I have to bust out my glasses for.
Oh yeah. Okay. So this one.
Yeah, you picked a nice large font. That's always good for me.
I did. I bolded it too.
No, I know. And my glasses will make it even better.
Perfect. Okay. So this one is titled Multicultural Wedding Drama.
Okay.
Hi, I love this podcast and have been listening for a while. I would love to hear both of your opinions about this issue that I'm having with my own wedding planning journey. Great. You've come to the right place. My fiance is white. Sorry, I don't know why that was funny. My fiance is white and I'm Mexican. Yeah, come here. And I am Mexican American. Both my parents were born in Mexico and we moved to the States when I was 2. I'm the youngest of 3 in the family and the first in my family to ever marry a white man. No pressure for him. He and I get along so great and my parents and siblings absolutely love him. His family, however, hasn't been the most accepting of me and have only met my parents twice, which is totally not normal in the Mexican community. They are sweet, don't get me wrong, but I really started to notice a little hesitation and uncomfortableness a week or so after he proposed. After he proposed. Having my family be from Mexico, we still honor all of our Mexican traditions and holidays. So obviously I want to include these traditions in our wedding. I know a wedding is the joining of 2 families and I'm all for including his family's traditions, but his mom, if I'm going to be really throwing anyone under the bus, is acting like doing anything Mexican wedding ceremony or acting like doing any Mexican wedding ceremony traditions is repulsive. And we be a total misrepresentation to her friends about what she has told them about me. I feel like I have to be very white around her and her family and friends. Sorry if that offends anyone. Anyway, my family is huge and I know they all expect to see our heritage portrayed at my wedding. I know this isn't technically a story and I promise to write back once we actually make it down the aisle, but I would love to know what you 2 think and what any advice you have for me. Well, Daniela.
First of all, I am honored, and I say that honestly, that somebody would actually write and ask our opinion about that. I mean, that is so tricky. I mean, blending cultures, blending religions
is hard
got to be hard.
Yeah.
Blending ethnicities has got to be hard.
Yeah.
I mean, my husband's Italian. I'm Southern.
Yeah.
I know that's not a,
It's not, but
it's blending two
yeah.
completely different family types.
Yeah.
And so interracial, interethnicity, that's got to be huge. You have to be, my thought process is the whole family, both sides, has to be extremely sensitive to the two different cultures, the two different races, if we're going to say that, ethnicity. And I mean, my
traditions
and traditions. My first thought is, she's Mexican American. Her family's lived here. She said they came to America
when she was 2.
When she was
they
2.
Just like
okay, so they're
I've
predominantly
maybe probably 2 decades,
right? So they're predominantly American. She is been
but
raised
her parents,
that way, but her parents are not.
Yeah, and
so
it sounded like everyone else was still in Mexico or from Mexico.
So for her,
and if she's the first person that's ever married a white man in her family, I'm going to assume that they are very centered and based still in Mexico.
Right. So for her, I mean, and that might be how her family is, and she might be different because she's been raised in the United States.
Yeah.
I would just evaluate, and I'm not dissing on her culture at all, but because she's been raised in the US and her family came here, evaluate how important whatever Mexican traditions there are and how much of that she wants to incorporate into her wedding. It sounds like it's a lot.
Yeah. And I think that's fair because it is, she did say it is a joining of two families.
Right. Of course.
So everything you want to do and everything they want to do, you both can't get your way 100%.
Right.
It does have to be a very, even compromise. I think though, in terms of his mom not wanting
is a strong word.
Yeah. So if that's how you, Danielle, if that's how you're feeling that his mom is repulsed by these traditions, it might be time for
a smackdown.
It might be time for you to kick her fucking ass, honestly. It might be time for you and your fiance,
like a personal problem,
to sit down with her and his father and you and your mom and dad, the 6 of you all sit down,
right,
and really talk about this, because she can't take away your history and your traditions from you, and she can't shame you out of being Mexican American.
And
that's
the wedding,
fucking crazy.
Like she said, the wedding is a blending of two families. Yeah. It's not a production like, oh, we're going to do all these traditions and these cultural things, and then it's going to be over.
Right.
So, I think a good, nice heart.
And if and this is the other thing too, and this says, we've talked about this a little bit, like who's contributing financially. If his family is contributing to the rehearsal dinner or whatever the traditional things that they're contributing to, and your family is the one paying for most everything, I hate saying this, but like you kind of get final say. And it sounds like your fiance is all in for accepting whatever traditions you want to have in it, and you accepting whatever his traditions. And at the end of the day, it's y'all's day. I think definitely try and smooth things out. But if his mom is still going to continue to make you feel a certain way, it might just kind of be like all right, whatever. You go sit over there and I'll sit over here, and me and your son are going to get married, and you're going to have to just.
She didn't mention anything about the dynamic between her and her husband, or her fiance.
No, I mean, she said they get along great. Like,
they get along great. So, I don't know if he's like supportive of his mom, and
I think that's a tricky situation.
It is tricky. Well,
in any multicultural or not.
It takes me back to our toxic in-law episode.
Oh, yeah.
And so, although this isn't, it could be toxic in-law. I don't know. It could turn into that, but it's more of a cultural ethnicity thing. From this standpoint of her story, you better get that out now because it's going to come up again. Yeah. If it's coming up now before in the planning, it's going to come up again, and it's better to just put it all out on the table. And
but definitely write back to us once you actually get married. I would love to hear how this turned out.
I think quickly blending two cultures is amazing.
Oh, I think it'd be so fun to go to that wedding.
It's amazing.
If you wanted to also send us an invite.
Sure, we will happily accept.
But
so people need to, get over themselves.
Oh my God, get out of my head. What happens,
people, when you spend too much time together. Okay, drunk band fiasco. Let the shit show begin. Her words, not mine. We got married 2 years ago, and I still listen to this podcast. Awesome. Nice. My husband and I honestly had a great time planning our wedding. We had the normal stressors, but nothing really out of the ordinary. That is until our wedding night. My husband's friend from college got married about a year before we did and had an amazing band play. We were already engaged by their wedding. So once the night was done, we approached the band and asked for their info because we wanted to book them for ours. I'm sure that happens all the time.
Yeah.
All the conversations leading up to our wedding night were great, and the lead singer was so cool and really understood our vibe as a couple. Cut to our wedding night. It all started out great. We did our entrance, first dance, had dinner, danced with our parents, and then really got the party started. About an hour into everyone dancing the night away, I noticed the lead singer messing up on some of the lyrics. Then he made an impromptu speech where he referred to us as some of his best friends. Then things really got weird. He started walking off the stage and doing a weird serenade thing to our guests. Thank God we had a wedding planner who quickly noticed this behavior and pulled him aside while the band played vocalists. Y'all, I shit you not. This dude started crying so hard the entire dance floor heard him. Apparently, a few days before our wedding, he caught his wife cheating on him and she left him. He was totally wasted and really letting all his feelings out at our reception. I guess a friend drove him home and the bass player stepped up and finished the rest of the night out singing. He was really okay, and we ended the night on a great foot. The next day, the lead singer sent us an email and actually ended up sending us half of our payment back a few weeks later. I really did feel bad for him, but at the moment I was so pissed. Anne from Michigan.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to say this. Anytime someone starts referring to you as their best friends, that's when you know.
You know what?
When you know shit is like, what the fuck is happening right now?
Okay, bad situation, but honest to God, I just I feel so bad for him.
I mean, but like, it's a job. What the fuck are you doing?
It is oh God, I mean, obviously, there's.
But I like that he did pay.
I like that he did pay back.
He
I like
acknowledged.
that he was removed from the situation.
Yeah.
He was upset. He was left. Someone drove him home. I mean, nothing was like drama.
It wasn't chaotic. Drama.
Nothing was bad.
It sounds like it lasted all of like 5-ish minutes.
Yes.
But it's like when that kind of shit happens,
I could
especially your wedding,
totally see why she was pissed.
Yeah.
But it would really be hard to be in a wedding business and perform at people's weddings when you had something really bad happen in your own wedding,
especially like
your
own
marriage.
Yeah, a week before.
Yeah. So, whoa, that, So
You're my best friends. You're my best friends. I love you guys so much. That's when you know shit is like, what the fuck?
I appreciate
I fucking love you guys.
I appreciate her sharing that story. You can take so many things away from that. Like, you never know what's going on in somebody's life behind the scenes. I mean, yes,
you're being all positive, Nancy.
Job. I mean, yes, it's a job, but hey, you never know.
You never know.
You never know.
Okay. This one is makeup artist disaster. I added the disaster on for flair.
Not disaster.
Disaster. Hello, I own my own salon, and we opened our bridal side of the business about 4 years ago. On top of all the regular salon drama, now we get to see and endure the crazy wedding drama. I do not do bridal hair or makeup, but I do try to be as present as much as I can for trials and just in my own salon in general. A couple years ago, a bride booked us for her wedding. She booked her trial appointment and sent us over her hair and makeup inspo. The day of the trial, the bride came in, and I guess the mom felt like she needed one as well. This immediate
a makeover,
a trial.
Yeah. Oh, a trial.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
This immediately did not sit well with me, but we are here to serve, so we accommodated her mom and started with the trial. The mom wanted her skin to look 20 years younger and didn't want to see any lines, wrinkles, or bags. There is not a makeup product on this earth that will de-age you like that. She complained the whole makeup trial and blamed the stylist for her makeup being in her creases.
That's what it does.
There it is. Finally,
case in point.
Finally, moving on to the hair portion of the trial, she had extremely thin and fine hair, which made it very hard to do. The style she brought in was going to be impossible for my stylist to execute given how short and again, how thin her hair was. We offered extensions and she refused. It was a completely unrealistic goal. The mom was so rude and ridiculous. The bride's trial took 2 hours, which is what we normally schedule for. But the mom, her trial lasted over 4 hours before I finally had to step in and ask her to leave. My stylist at that point was in tears over how critical the mom was being. After both the mom and bride left, I sat down with my stylist and asked how she wanted to move forward. The next day, I sent an email to the bride and said we could not do the mom's hair or makeup, but could continue to still do her hair and her bridal party's hair if she was that was it. I had to continue to add on words. She was totally pissed and fired us. I say fired very loosely here. They both paid for their trials, but I gave their deposit back and wished them luck. So signed here for the drama.
So the bride was mad that they were like not going to. We're not.
Mom. Yeah. It said I sent an email to the bride and said we could not do the mom's hair, but could still do her hair and the bridal party's hair and makeup. She was totally pissed and fired. Yeah.
Oh my God. So that just makes me think of, and I've told you this before, and I know it's the bride's day.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh yeah.
But as a mother of the bride, and this woman, obviously, you know, it's your daughter.
You're also going to be in that spotlight-ish as well.
Well, yeah. And like, you want everything to go perfect. And it does kind of come back, I think, a little bit on the parents, because they're giving the party, whatever. So I could see where a mom wants to look really good, but we've never really dove into mother of the bride, like the unrealistic.
But I also think
like not knowing, and I hate to say not knowing your place, but
yeah,
you know
like
I mean?
I think it's like if my mom were to be like, I want to get my hair and makeup done as well, I'd be like, okay,
make your own trial.
Like, yeah, like do you need it like over the top done like mine, or like can it just be, hey, we're going to do the makeup on the day of, send us your inspo and your hair. Like, do you need a trial, or do you want just to book one for fun to do with me? But like to come in unannounced, first of all.
Yeah, that's not right. I mean, in any situation, that's not right. I mean, when, you know, at Jackie's wedding, like she was coordinating everything for her and her bridal party, and I reached out separately and all of that. But I think we should do an episode about mother of the bride too, because I think sometimes the expectations are
wonky.
Yeah. Right. Okay. My turn. God, you give me all these stories to read.
Yeah.
I think I should separate them out next time. Allergic reaction. Hey, Emily and Laura. I think this podcast is great and you both are hilarious. I laugh at myself too when I watch on YouTube. I think I'm so funny. I love the real wedding talk and have sent this to so many friends that are engaged, and we appreciate that so much. This didn't happen at my wedding, but my cousin's. Her ceremony was stunning. She is very flighty, so we were all worried when she said she didn't want to get a wedding planner, but honestly, it turned out beautiful. She's very crafty and DIY'd a lot of their home. The wedding happened on her parents' land, very boho, just like her. She built the arbor they were to be married under and even resewed her wedding dress, one she found at a consignment shop. Notice I only mentioned the ceremony. And if you're good at that, then good for her. DIY. Everyone looked so good coming down the aisle until my cousin, the bride, came down. They had taken some bridal party pictures and some solo bridal pictures beforehand, so she had been holding her bouquet. I'm sure you see where this is going. I'm not sure why no one said anything to her until she got all the way down the aisle, which her own father walked her down. Her arms, chest, and face were covered in a rash. It was painful just to look at her. Her fiance's face was priceless. I know this must sound awful, but I'm sitting here laughing so hard remembering all the details. Obviously, at the time, it wasn't funny. Just to be clear, I'm not that heartless. Oh. Anyway, she got down the aisle to her fiance and he leaned in and whispered something to her. Then he turned around and asked his best man for his phone, pulled up the camera and showed her face. The look of terror on her face that quickly turned to rage when she looked at her dad and yelled at him. Long story short, that's when I learned people can be allergic to baby's breath. After some debate and a Photoshop conversation with the photographer, the ceremony continued, but the celebration was cut short due to her trip to the ER. They did have a celebration 6 months later, and it was a lot of fun. No baby's breath in sight. Rachel from South Carolina. Okay. This turned into a trip to the ER. Obviously, all the picture taking, she was holding the bouquet, developing this rash. Did she not feel that or look in the mirror? Did she not have to go to the bathroom and take a potty break and be like, oh, damn, what's up with my face?
Well, why didn't someone say, like, it must have gotten to the point where,
well,
like,
that's what she said.
it
Her
had to
dad.
like escalate quickly to the point, like, I've gotten hives before and it will start out as like, oh, there's like a little bump. And then like
all of a sudden
30
you're
seconds
like,
later, my
what is
arm is
happening?
covered.
Yeah, no, I get that.
That's what I'm going to assume.
Well, yeah, because she's like yelled at her dad, obviously.
Like it had to escalate quickly.
Yeah.
She probably noticed something and didn't realize what it was.
You know what?
I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt here because I'm like, there's no way, like, rashes itch, hives itch.
Yeah, or your eyes would be burning,
and maybe she just was like, maybe like it's just like a stress reaction.
Yeah, I don't know.
But then just be really, like, hey, photographer, can you Photoshop this shit out?
That's really unfortunate because nobody wants that on. I'm turning it over. Nobody wants that on their wedding day. And I guess you wouldn't know if you didn't know if you were allergic to.
Well, no, because I mean, it's not like, well, especially something like baby's breath, like that's really used only in bouquets, like, or like filler flowers in your home.
Yeah, and nobody walks around like, let me
rub this all over my face, or
let me walk around with what my bouquet is going to be like to see if I have an allergic reaction first. Maybe that should be part of your wedding planning.
Add that to your fucking list. Okay?
I mean, walk around in your shoes, break them in.
Oh, I do that. Yeah,
walk around with a bouquet.
I did that. Yeah.
Yeah, but like maybe we should add that to the list.
Yeah,
walk around with
break your shoes in. Walk around with your bouquet. Fucking
make sure you don't have an allergic reaction. That's crazy. That is crazy. That's the first time I've ever heard that. So thanks for writing in.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. I was thinking that she put poison ivy because she was like, she's flighty and DIY. I was thinking poison ivy.
Yeah.
But like that would be very immediate. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, gosh, I don't know. I guess it depends on your body's reaction to it. But wow, that's... Hey, honey, quickly, can I pull my camera out? Is that okay? And take a picture and show you how fucked up you look? Because something is wrong.
Something is wrong with your face. Can you give me a minute to show you how gross you look?
Sure, babe. I got nothing else going on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's not like we have 50 people over here waiting for us to get fucking married. Yeah, let me like see what I look like. Absolutely. Okay. Wedding planner dropped the ball. Hey, y'all, I'm totally obsessed with this podcast and can't get enough. I just wanted to say, even though I'm already married, listening to you both makes me feel so validated in how I was feeling. I was told multiple times that I was overreacting and it's just one day, but it's a huge one day that you remember for the rest of your life. So thank you both for doing this for all of us. Oh, thanks. You're welcome.
Our pleasure.
Absolutely. Anyway, on to my story and probably a huge reason why I was such a mess. My wedding planner. Oh, let me start by saying when I booked her, I knew she was newer in the business, but I'm a firm believer that everyone starts somewhere and to always give people a chance.
Amen.
She even offered up another bride's contact info for a wedding she did. I texted with this bride and she had nothing but positive accolades for the planner. I ended up booking her, and I will say it was a little rocky, but overall not too bad. That is up until about 2 months out. She kind of ghosted me. Like wouldn't respond back for a week at a time. And as y'all know, the 2 months before the wedding are pretty critical. Contracts have to be paid, final decisions made, RSVPs come back, and blah, blah, blah. Y'all already know. So of course, her not calling, emailing, or texting me back stressed me the F out. I pretty much ended up doing everything myself the last 2 months leading up to the wedding. She finally started acting like a planner again a week and a half before the big day. I was so pissed, but I needed help, so I didn't say anything. Looking back, I should have just fired her, but it is what it is now. The actual day of the wedding, God, what a mess. In the moment, of course, it seemed way worse than it was, and it wasn't actually anything big, a lot of little details that just kept being overlooked. Luckily, my photographer really stepped up and took over the planning role. I still would always recommend a wedding planner, but unfortunately can't vouch for someone just starting out anymore. Jackie from Alabama.
That sucks. I'd love to know what happened. I mean, I know like life things happen, but gosh, that's
for 2 months. Like maybe, I don't know, maybe she had another wedding that she like overbooked herself as someone newer. But I feel like if on first glance being like, hey, here's some brides that you can contact. I wonder if those were her friends' weddings that she planned. And they're like, oh my God, she's great.
Well, everybody does that for references.
Well, right. But it's like,
nobody is going to put somebody as a reference.
No, but you know what I mean? I mean, none of my wedding planners, none of my wedding vendors were like, here, call this number for like a good review. Like you just, I don't know. I mean, that sucks.
It's an unfortunate experience.
But she went into it seeming very open-minded and positive, which is great. But that sucks too because
it's just, I mean, it is good advice. I mean, she's obviously been scarred by that. So her opinion of a new business starting out is going to be a little jaded.
Yeah.
You got to go with your gut. That's when you have to listen to your gut.
Yeah.
And because not all new businesses are going to behave that way, but you never know. Okay.
Last one.
Okay. Awesome.
I love these episodes. These are my favorites.
I know. I love these too.
Probably because I don't have to do any research or have to put
it's just
together.
I mean, we are so in our little local bubble that we hear stuff going on here. So it's good to know that what things that we talk about really, are happening in the all over the world.
All over the world.
Spreading joy all over the world. Oh, mama. I used to work in the wedding industry and still keep in touch with people I worked with. I'm still close with a wedding officiant, and he asked me about some of my craziest wedding stories. I have a few, like when a groom peed on himself. Anyway, I told him mine. He was like, well, mine's going to top yours. I was like, okay, whatever. Let's hear it. Literally, the man tells me he just had a wedding recently, and it was a ceremony time, and they could not, it was ceremony time, and they could not find the groom. So the maid of honor and some of the other bridesmaids go looking for the groom. They don't want to stress the bride out because it's seriously time for her to start walking down the aisle, so they don't say anything to her. Well, they are all looking everywhere and they can't find him. The maid of honor sees a closet and she thinks, I'll just check in here and see. When she opened the closet, he was in there with his mother breastfeeding on her. And the father was watching? Oh my God. This can't be real. Oh my God. The mother ran after the maid of honor and told her, this is not what you think. Basically, he deals with really bad anxiety, and this is just how we've learned to cope with it. Apparently, he was really nervous on his wedding day and needed his mom's boob. And for some reason, the dad was in there. I don't know if it was to protect them from getting caught or if it was to watch. Either way, it's absolutely gross. They called off the wedding, and now it's the most insane party story known to man. And yes, the maid of honor had to go tell her best friend that her husband was sucking his mom's teat. For obvious reasons, I'll stay anonymous. Okay. My first, when it was like, oh, okay, well, look in the closet, that just makes me think of 2.5 Men episode. Whatever. If you don't watch 2.5 Men, it's funny as hell. Go watch it. But that was an episode. Not the boob sucking part, but the Charlie was in the closet having sex with somebody episode. I thought the groom was going to be in there. Okay, Brett, first of all, let's just talk about the word breastfeeding. When you're a grown ass man and you're a woman that I'm assuming is in her 50s something, it's not breastfeeding. It's not breastfeeding. You're not producing milk.
You are if you never stopped.
Oh, fuck. Is that what we're thinking?
If that was how he copes with anxiety, I'm going to assume that he never stopped breastfeeding.
Okay, I think the best way to cope with this situation is therapy.
My thing is like, so every time you got in a fight with your fiance and he was like, babe, I'm just so stressed, I need to go talk to my parents, I'm just gonna go over to my parents' house, he went over to
ow, that's my bad knee.
He went over to go breastfeed on his mommy.
Anything in life. Oh, I'm gonna go have a beer with the guys, I'm super stressed out. That's
fucking child abuse.
That's parental abuse too.
And the dad,
he's just like, I'm going to keep a watch out.
You didn't do a good job.
In a closet?
You didn't do a good job.
That's like, oh, babe.
Let's go to a dark closet really quick.
Closet. Here's a closet. Let's go in here. I'll calm you down from your anxiety.
Why wouldn't you go find a bathroom, lock the door, and just be like, we were having a family meeting trying to rectify. But like, that's, I mean, if you're...
let's go find a bath. No, you don't do that. You don't do
He
that.
shouldn't be breastfeeding anyway. Like, I'm assuming this dude is anyway.
Thank God that wedding got called off. I don't know who you
Could
are.
you imagine? Like,
anonymous writer-inner? Wait. Oh, they were in the industry and they still keep in touch with people. And this was an officiant story. So, okay. So we don't, nobody a part of this, what, other than it's just a story down the line. That's the way I'm dealing with that.
you're having to disassociate.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never heard that in my whole life. I have known women that have breastfed their kids like
beyond 5, 6, 7.
beyond what I think. But again, that's my opinion.
Right.
And the only reason why I thought that was inappropriate is because we were at a youth hockey game and they're sitting in the bleachers and she was breastfeeding the 6, 7-year-old child in front of everybody, like openly. I mean, don't come at me with your breastfeeding stuff because I'm pro that. But the point is that that's the only knowledge I've ever had of
someone going beyond your normal. I feel like
what I personally think is
past
normal.
The toddler.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's all that should happen. So
okay, guys. So the breastfeeding story, we just want to remind everyone, we do record like a few weeks ahead of time. So when we recorded the breastfeeding story, it wasn't going around the internet like it is now. But when we got it, we thought it was hilarious when I read it. That's why I was like, oh my God, I have to have Laura read this.
Yes. And it could be true. I mean, it could be not true, but
I think it's one of those creepy pasta situations.
Moments, yeah.
But we wanted to leave it in because it gave us a laugh and we hope that it gave you guys a laugh. But we know that it's going around and it's probably some very cute little
it's making
fun wedding horror story.
Exactly.
I'm not sure how we end now. Thanks for joining us again on another crazy episode.
Cheers to that shit.
Cheers to that shit.
Yikes. I'm speechless. I'm rarely speechless.
Send us your stories, guys.
If you can top that, you are more than welcome to write in because I'm not sure how we'll ever top that one.
And that concludes our story saga.
Oh, until next time.
Bye.